Hi, I'm Alanna Lawson with Elite Traveller TV, and today I'm speaking with Robert Angell of Robert Angell Design International. Lovely to meet you, Robert.
Very nice to meet you.
So your interest with interior design started at quite a young age. Can you tell me what spurred this interest?
I think it's something that I've always kind of grown up with in terms of a kind of creative background in a way. One of my early recollections was kind of rearranging some walls in one of my father's sheds and creating spaces which I felt would be better for the use that they were intended for. So it was fun, but
wow.
Probably very naive at the time as well. Yeah.
And your father actually allowed you to go ahead and make those changes?
Yes. Yeah.
Very trusting.
Yeah, very.
So kind of fast forward through your academic work and things in design, and you arrived in London in 1995.
Correct.
Can you tell us about what your impression was of the industry at that time?
The location is fantastic because a lot of brands from America or Europe used London as a kind of base for setting up a lot of headquarters here. And I think the design skills here are the best in the world, and I still think that. My kind of early inspiration was a lot of fashion designers, actually. There was Jean-Paul Gaultier, there was Catherine Hamnet at the time, and there was such a cool edginess. It was kind of post-punk, but it was kind of something that was very British and very of pop culture, and it was kind of where it was at the time, and it made it very exciting and very, I had to be there, had to be here, essentially.
And how did that kind of inspire your early kind of professional work that you did?
My boss at the time, he was very into kind of fashion and culture as well, and I think as an industry it's something to very much look into as inspiring because interiors is very transient in a way. It's almost like fashion. It's not as transient as fashion, but I think that there's a lot of similarities in terms of what the next color waves are going to be for the season, the styles, and the way we can interlink the kind of textures and tones within our interiors as well, so that they're very much of now, but they have a timeless quality about them. So
a significant part of your career was working with David Collins. Can you tell me about how this collaboration began?
Yes, we met through a friend, and it was something that we were discussing design, and one of the things was that he was building his studio in Chelsea at the time, and he said, come in, have a chat and see what we can do. And the rest is essentially my very long career with David, and it was amazing to work with someone who's so inspiring and who actually put such a mark on the London design and global design industry. He's an absolute legend.
And moving on from that, you then, in 2010, opened your own design studio, where we are today. Can you tell us about that experience and maybe what some of the greatest challenges were in establishing the company? It
was something that I'd always wanted to do, and it was a time when the country was in recession. But that said, I think there was still a lot of things happening within London as design, and people were looking to London for what was the next thing, and there was lots of new little startups that required less money, but they had the passion, and that's kind of driven the kind of look and feel of some of the kind of cool, edgy designs that are around at the moment. And I think that's something that is now spread further into like the mainstream brands. I was one of those ones where I thought, right, this is my chance to make a splash into London and start a kind of a new design studio.
And what would you say were kind of the challenges starting out initially? It's
probably a couple of things. It's probably getting the right staff together, and we've got a great team here. We're building on a team we've got here, and also just working out the nature of the industry that we're in, because my experience over the last 20 years is something that I've been very much involved in the hospitality aspect of design in terms of hotels and restaurants. So I was kind of of the school where you kind of stick to what you're good at. So that's what I've kind of honed in on, and we do amazing hotels now, and we do some. We've done some amazing restaurants, and we're still doing amazing restaurants.
Have you ever been tempted to kind of diverge from that path and go somewhere kind of completely different with design?
It's funny you should mention that, because we're just about to start work on a new jewellery concept in Knightsbridge, which is going to be amazing. It allows us to do something creatively different and approach how you display jewellery and how you perceive the customer walking around the store rather than a restaurant or a hotel.
Has there ever been a very unique or unusual thing that you've wanted to design for a long time, or ever in the back of your mind have you thought, I'd love to design that?
I think there's some great buildings around at the moment. You know, Renzo Piano designed the Shard, and I think that's something that is very welcome to London in terms of, you know, okay, there's other skyscrapers that are being built in the city, but, you know, to have something that's such an amazing structure in London, and something that it's almost looks as though it's been there. And I know Renzo took a lot of inspiration from the church steeples of London in terms of that was the only thing visible above the normal kind of roof line. And I think looking at that as a kind of a historic approach to something that's very contemporary works very well, and I think that's why it sits so well on the London skyline. So
you've already accomplished so much with the company still being so young. Where to from here?
We're in a position where, you know, the recognition globally from the clients we're getting through and working with at the moment is a very exciting time, and it's to work with great people I've got in my office, but also to work with great clients and get our brand out there and also show the world what we can do and deliver. It's amazing.
Well, I look forward to seeing what's in store for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.